Sorry, I've just realised that our colour scheme has kind of clashed a bit with the background. So there's supposed to be F's along there, and we'd like to introduce you to our flexible formative feedback project. We are a cross-faculty team, and we're working on improving feedback within the university.
So feedback's been listed as a strategic priority at the university, so quite important to deal with. Students have been dissatisfied with the current feedback at the University of Sheffield. It's been said that low levels of student satisfaction would be effectiveness of feedback in deepening learning. This is part of the Higher Education Academy bid that was put forward to try and work on feedback as the strategic priority. So, across faculty group is going to be investigating students' perceptions, expectations of feedback, with a view to improve the feedback, therefore, in the long run, improving the learning experience for students at Sheffield University.
So we'd like to tell you a bit about what we've been up to so far. We kind of started working in October, and in our first week we met Ollie, who's our academic project director, and he helps us sort things out behind the scenes. In the second week we had a feedback workshop with Ian Hickling, who is the Director of Learning and Teaching for Architecture. We'll talk a bit about what we learned in the workshop next. Our third week consisted of making plans about how we're going to engage students and what kind of action plan we're going to come up with, and then over the past week we are just starting to gear up our online campaign and finalising things for a feed forward month.
So right at the beginning everything was quite hectic. There were so many things to address and think of, but we started off quite early on, as we said, with Ian Hickling, who was a great contact, and he works in the architectural department, and he's carried out a project of feedback so far already and ways in which it can be improved. At the moment there is a kind of transactional sort of view to feedback, in that the staff would give feedback and then it would be acted on further down the process. However, that's something we want to change. So the main thing that I got from the discussion anyhow are these 3 points down here. I think this was kind of shared between the team though. So as a result of discussions with him, we found that feedback as a continuous reflective process throughout the year is very important. So getting regular feedback that can keep you learning on that same line. Also, feedback to inspire is very important. Having too much feedback, too negative, can be quite bad. Sometimes it's good to give that extra boost to keep them more confidence to go on. And feedback to encourage deeper learning, and I think this is the most important part of what our campaign is trying to get. So, kind of the summary from all of that is that the developing process is more important than the end goal, and the way to achieve that deeper learning is through flexible forms of feedback.
So we'd now like to tell you about our Feed Forward month coming up in November, which is part of the Flexible Formative Feedback project. So we're launching our F3 campaign, which is aimed solely at first years, and we're trying to discover what their expectations of feedback at university are. We're going to find out these expectations by getting them to fill in questionnaires and surveys, which will be emailed out. We'll hopefully have installed the union, which we'll tell you a bit more about later, and then also to take part in a focus group.
So breaking that all down into jobs, we've kind of listed 3 main areas that we're going to be targeting between the 4th and the 29th of November. So as Rhiannon was saying, publicity is one thing that's going to be very important. We're going to be getting our campaign onto social media, so we're going to be targeting Facebook, Twitter, and we're going to be putting our blog site up soon as well. On our blog site we also include videos going through the week trying to get people more involved. Posters will also be put around the union as well to get more people involved. Through engagement we're hoping to go around some of the student villages involving first year students where they live and distributing questionnaires out. We're hoping to recruit a fair few first years for the focus group, however there's always a failure rate, so we're going to try and go over what we're kind of expecting really. So the questionnaires will kind of form the main bulk of our data collection, and then also through the questionnaires we're hoping to recruit people, as we said, about 21 people for the end focus group. We've also played around with thinking if we're going to do 2 or 1 focus group, how big it's going to be, and if we're going to break that focus group down into small groups and then feedback to bring back everyone's opinion. We're also going to have a school at the union as well for our intensive week, which is going to be the week where our focus group ends. And I believe that's it.
So after our Feed Forward month, we're going to analyse the data, pick out some common themes from the focus groups and surveys, and then we hope to launch a feedback month in February and March when first years have received feedback But the feedback month is also going to engage all students so we can gain a wider perspective on feedback from everyone within the university. So the feedback month is it's a work in progress, and we're going to be building on that from our experiences of the Feed Forward month.
So these are our main outcomes. The project itself is quite long. I think the main sort of idea of it is that we're going to be getting perceptions from the staff and the students. The point of us as SALT is that we're going to be engaging directly with the students. So far we've talked about our Feed Forward month, and we're going to be engaging with the first year students. When it comes back to the feedback month, where people have done their exams, hopefully we can involve more students from other years to get a good representative sample. And overall, the outcome, I think, that's been talked about in the bid is a feedback campaign.
Have questions. We didn't realise that you're not supposed to have questions at the end. But we'd encourage you to try and follow our Facebook, Twitter and blog campaigns, which we'll be launching hopefully at the end of the week, and then just keep an eye out for us throughout November. Thank you very much.